Junkies Nation. Yes, do not adjust your sets. Kenshiro has not suddenly become a much taller, slightly lighter skinned, more handsome man. I am GQ. And we are live right now for Culture Junkies Live. We're going to jump right into it. We've got a very, very awesome main topic. Unfortunately, I think he's indisposed at the moment. So I'm going to introduce the other remote call in friends of mine. Fallen Marvel, how you doing tonight, man?
I cannot complain. I'm doing rather well tonight, and I feel that we have a very interesting topic to discuss, and I can't wait to dive into it. So, yeah, we're gonna have some fun this evening. I anticipate.
Awesome, awesome. Sounds good.
Hmm.
Also, over there in the land of the snowed in, I got off work early but couldn't come to the studio and decided to go home instead of coming into the studio. Super Nerd Plus, how are you doing this
Yeah,
evening, sir?
fantabulous. Funny thing is, it was an accident on the way home, and if imagine if I took Southfield Freeway, I'm sure it's an accident as well because they can't drive on Southfield Freeway.
So, that's what snow tires are for, man. You've been living
I've
in
had a
Michigan
tank.
long enough.
Well, yeah, well, I've had a tank. I've been driving perfectly,
Well, this ain't
and then I
G.I.
can just
Joe,
blow my.
you know.
Well, I can push them out the way and run them over.
All right, and fresh from the kitchen, bringing in a big old huge jug of organic lemonade.
Organic
Organic.
full circle
Which it probably ain't really
market.
organic. It's probably like powdered mix or
Lemonade.
something that they threw in and put organic on the label. The great Kuji, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. This lemonade that I had up here, this one right here, no sponsors or whatnot. It tastes like that real lemon stuff, the squeeze you get in the squeeze bottle. They just added some water to it.
Wait, the squeeze, like, okay, like, you talking about the squeeze bottle used to look like a little baby lemon?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
what it
Yeah,
tastes like.
that's
I mean,
real
it
lemon.
ain't bad.
Yeah,
It's gonna get the job done if you know what I mean.
gotcha, gotcha. All right, well, since the usual host is en route to the studio, we're going to go ahead and jump into some interesting news. We've had some trailers drop during the, I guess you're not even supposed to call it the Super Bowl, but I'm going to call it the Super Bowl anyway, FU, NFL. But if you want, send a check. Um, they had a couple trailers that dropped Fast Nine, Marvel, Disney Plus related stuff, and Black Widow. So I guess we'll jump into the Marvel Disney Plus stuff because we're waiting for Miao Yin to join in as well. But
Hmm.
Marvel Disney Plus stuff. What do you guys think about the stuff that they dropped? I mean, they had some little quick shots. Obviously, the trailer was about 30 seconds long or so. The majority of it was seemed to be more of the WandaVision thing. Then they also had Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then like a second and a half of the Loki show. So let's jump into. I mean, let's start it off with Falcon and Winter Soldier. What were you guys' impressions on that? Who wants to go
Dope.
first?
Everybody was saying it was
And
dope, but I don't think they showed me enough. I mean, I'm already hyped. They didn't have to show me anything. I was gonna be there and watching it day one, because if just to me, I enjoy the entire cinematic universe. I'm not like one of those stickler. Oh, that movie is not as good as the Academy Award winning movie that I saw in 1992. I enjoy the movies, so therefore I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy the TV shows, and they didn't have to show much. I do kind of want to see a little bit more because, and that I don't recall seeing too many people's faces outside of Loki's face and Wanda's face. A little bit of vision. I don't remember seeing Anthony Mackie's face or Sebastian Stan's face. It was like that. Everybody else is a little bit
uh,
longer.
They
So if
were
there
Just
was
like
like
that.
three,
that's all you need, though.
no,
That's all you need.
no, give
hold
me
on,
some
hold
more.
on, hold on, hold on.
Hey, Buster Rhymes said it right.
The whole trailer starts off with Sam practicing throwing the shield.
Yeah, the back of his head.
You see him,
I saw the back of his
That
head.
is.
dude. You
No,
you must have
I mean,
been you must
you
have been
saw him though.
you must have been doing those like 4.5, 5 second blinks instead of the usual like millisecond blinks most of us do.
It was a 30-second, what you call
I
it,
know you
thing.
were blinking 4 seconds at a time because if you
Jeez, I
missed.
watched it like 4 times.
They
Like,
showed
okay,
they showed a scene of him throwing the shield. They
yeah.
showed a scene of him and Sebastian Stan, also known as the Winter
Oh, that was
Soldier.
them. It
Yeah.
looked so different. I couldn't tell.
Well,
That
his
He
was
hair
cut
them.
his
was
hair.
shorter. He
Yeah,
cut his
because he
hair
cut his
down.
head, man.
That's
He
why.
got rid of
Okay.
the Vidal Sassoon,
Beat
AJ Styles look. He got rid of his AJ Styles look and cut his hair short now.
All right, so that's my
And
bad on that
and
part.
you even got to see a different Captain America high fiving people at the halftime
I don't
show
think that was
at the
Captain
football
America.
game. No,
No,
That's
we know
the
what that
other
is.
Captain America.
You mean other Captain America, like the
U.S.
one
The
that
one,
was
the
agent.
one
agent?
that, yeah, the one that the U.S.
Yes,
government
gotcha.
wants to be Captain America.
Yep.
Mm.
I don't know if it's a villain
Oh,
first.
Okay, so I'm thinking that maybe we're going to start seeing some political BS happen with
Of
Of
this.
course.
course.
So
So,
it's
because I know they said that's the route that they were going with the show. So, them kind of doing that whole thing with U.S. Agent, with him supposed to be taking up the mantle as opposed to the person that he bequeathed the shield to.
Right.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting story
I
to
think that's
tell.
but
gonna be.
you
Yeah. Go
notice
ahead.
he has the shield though. What? So I'm trying to figure out what is that shield made out of?
Oh, you
Because
talking
you
about the
notice
U.S.
he did
agent? U.S. agent
the
guy?
U.S. agent. Correct. Correct.
He probably
So
got
I'm
one of
trying
the,
to figure out.
he probably stopped by one of the comic book shops, picked up one of the Marvel Legends shields, and ran out on the field. Like, hey, of
Yeah, that wouldn't last very long in the
course
fight.
not.
Just
You know, them
saying.
things are those things are 1-to-1. So it's the same size as Cap's regular shield. So he might be trying to
Mhm.
pull a fast one on everybody.
I did see that supposedly there's a what do they call those Robin eggs, Easter egg from
He said Robin
Robin
eggs.
eggs. Okay.
Loki was wearing some kind of gel outfit, and like the symbol on there, people were saying it's some kind of time universe stopper organization.
Yeah, it's
I forgot what
time.
they called it.
There something. It's
Hmm.
TV are the initials, but I don't remember
I've never
exactly
heard of
what
him.
that was. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was definitely one of those situations where you got to be a heavily, heavily. Matter of fact, Super Nerd Plus is on the call. What's that from, sir?
To be
TVA.
honest, I don't know. I want to say miss a lot of futuristic time jumping people in the Marvel universe, so I'm not too sure who it could be. First thing come to mind is Kang the Conqueror, but he has nothing unless he had the Council of Kangs. But I don't think introduced that too early
Okay,
because
fair enough.
it's
Hey, who
No,
knows?
it's
I don't. We
no.
don't know
something
what they
authority.
plan. G.
I just saw on his website, but Business Insider is like, oh my gosh, you have an ad blocker on. We need you to take the ad blocker off. And I'm like, you know what? You guys can jump into river. There we go.
Wow.
Hey,
Jump into the
Yeah,
river.
the
a
trailer is
liver
on
river.
Disney Plus
Okay,
though.
that's different.
Time Variance Authority. There
Time
you go.
variance of third.
First
Okay.
appeared in 1986 Thor issue number 372 by Walt Simonson and Sal
Oh,
Buscema.
Okay. So it
Okay.
sounds like
So
what we might
and
be getting into is Loki is a time fugitive, obviously, because we saw him disappear with the space gem in the middle of
he's the
Endgame.
new
yeah.
bishop.
Yeah, he might be the new bishop, basically. So
I thought you
Yeah.
said biscuit at first. I was like, who the hell is biscuit? He's the new biscuit?
right, because I mean, and again, in true Loki fashion, he said, I'm going to burn this place down. So it looks like he was, potentially captured, which is weird because he's still Asgardian, stronger than more normal humans and whatnot. So
Correct.
Yeah.
Speaking,
I mean,
go right ahead,
technically
sir.
a frost giant, even
Yeah,
though very
exactly.
dwarf. But
he's a dwarf
I mean,
giant.
but again,
Yeah,
dealing with this kind of
yeah,
stuff, I mean, obviously they probably have the tools to apprehend said, power scale. So,
that's fair.
you
That's
know,
fair.
so we just kind of have to just wait and see. Like it, what makes Loki interesting as far as the show is because there's so many different avenues that they can take because it's essentially kind of I mean, again, this is like going back to the Loki that everybody enjoyed from the first Thor and Avengers and so on. And it's
Yeah.
like never not saying that they never stopped enjoying them, but this is we're obviously going to get the more vindictive Loki back.
Oh yeah, he's
So,
definitely going to be the more villainous take because again, he hasn't lived the
mhm,
additional life around humans and even kind of slightly sort of kind of reconciling with his brother.
yeah,
Later in life. But what's up to John P over there in the chat, and also everybody else in the other chats that I can't currently see right now, but I'm going to let my fellow compatriots here in the studio get some info for us as far as who else is on the other
We
chats.
got Tony Young.
Tony Young, what's up,
He's
sir?
in it. I think I saw we got a Harl Schmo. Hey, Harl.
Har-
Top fan.
Okay.
Top fan.
All
Oh,
right. Awesome. Awesome. We're going to move over to the other one that was on there, WandaVision, in 1 second. But I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to Loki show for sure. But WandaVision
yeah.
now.
One was looking
I'm looking
promising.
forward to Loki too.
Oh, you all, of course you are. You got that Tom Hiddleston slash Henry Cavill crush going
Be
on, and also
careful. Be
what's up to
careful.
Miao Yin over there coming from the Great South with potential tornadoes and all that coming. How you doing?
The
Stay
wild,
safe.
wild South. Yes. I need y'all from up north to come collect your weather. It's all in my backyard, and I
First
don't like
off,
it.
we don't do tornadoes up here. We
Tornadoes
get
don't
them.
happen too
We get
often.
them occasionally, like
Yeah.
once every 100 years or
I think
so.
you're talking about
I
Kansas,
said
Arkansas, and
what I
Texas.
said.
Arkansas,
It's been
Texarkana, all those
cold. It's
places.
been this wild weather. No, that's
Well,
northern
hey,
weather.
hey,
You about to
Okay.
become the beach after all of Florida's drowned.
exactly, but it can't happen until after we do our Disney. Until after we do our Disney Galaxy's Edge tour down there.
Yeah.
Coming to you live. from
Oh, I'm sorry,
Florida at
Sharita
some point in the
Jackson.
future.
I didn't see that you were in there.
Uh-oh.
My bad.
Oh dang, you get warm and scorned. You cannot not say hi to Sharita.
Hey,
Jackson.
Hello.
Sharita.
Not saying
Glad
Everybody
to
say hi.
join.
There we go.
because we love Sharita. So
Of course
don't
we
don't
do.
Yeah.
slight the girl.
Of course. Hey, Sharita and I always get along in the chat, so that's awesome. How you doing,
But
Sharita?
WandaVision, like from seeing the little snippet, I'm actually excited for it now. I wasn't at first.
Likewise.
I
Well,
wasn't at first, but I
you're
am
a
now.
partial hater, though.
I'm a what? I couldn't
Uh-oh.
hear you.
Uh-oh.
I'm just stirring it up. Just a little
I'm a
bit.
what?
Stirring the
I'm
pot.
just nothing. So you look, you look a little bit like Scarlet Witch tonight. That's kind of awesome. I like that. I'm digging the red.
I mean, I think I look good in red. I did know
Red
that
works for you. Red works for you.
red is
there
a
you go.
good color. So that's why I'm like, maybe I can be on her team, but she got to get it together.
Now here's what I thought was pretty cool about that. They started off with the whole Leave It to Beaver look,
Mhm.
and then they jumped into the Brady Bunch. Then they jumped
Yeah.
into something where she had her actual comic accurate costume, which, from what I'm hearing, is a Halloween costume in the
Yeah.
episode.
They're saying
where
it's supposed to be Modern Family because one before that was Roseanne.
right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be
That's
interesting to see.
interesting.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's going to be
Yeah.
very cool because now one thing that I did notice in that, if you look at that, Wanda appears in all of that stuff, but there comes a point in the trailer where Vision, shows up. It's not human fleshy Vision like we got in Infinity War for half a second. It's
Mhm.
android Vision. Now obviously we know he's dead.
Mhm.
So it seems like, okay, is this some type of fantasy reality that she's projecting or is being projected for her? Because there's moments in the trailer where she's the only one in color in the middle of a black and white
Right.
world. So
Yeah,
are we
exactly.
potentially
Okay.
getting a mind job going on in this thing?
Well, there's a
Uh,
lot of stuff that's
Yeah.
going
That's
to go
exactly
on
what I was
I
thinking
think
too. Because
that's what it
somebody
is.
asked me that.
because
I think because he's still grayed out.
No, go ahead, Dada.
Sorry. Wasn't WandaVision supposed to link into Doc Strange too?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness. So
Yeah.
I
Hear
think
about
Yeah.
the new
All
movie.
that's
And-
going to tie in.
yeah.
All that's going to tie in. So
And
And
yeah,
also
that-
remember
think about it,
they
too.
lost the director, right? He said he don't want to do it because of creative differences. Well, according
well,
to
he
Variety,
stepped. Yeah. Well, he stepped down. He stepped down to executive producer. So he's still going to be a
so
part of
he's
the
still going to be on it,
production,
but he's not
Yeah.
going to
but
direct.
he's not going to direct it.
Right.
Well, guess who might be directing it? According to Variety, Sam Raimi
Uh-oh.
of
No.
Spider-Man
Nah,
1, 2, and maybe
nah.
3.
Okay.
I was
That
gonna
would
say
be
Quentin
interesting.
Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino.
Oh no, no, no,
Tarantino has done Disney
no.
movies in the past. We all know Pulp Fiction.
He
I want
has,
to see the
but
Nicolas Cage Tarantino
I was
movie.
just
That's
throwing a
coming out.
bomb in there.
That's gonna be sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. The new Nick Cage Tarantino team up is gonna be interesting. But
Mhm.
Also in that trailer, you forgot that, or people didn't notice that she was pregnant with
I
the
noticed
twins.
Oh
that.
yeah.
There was two.
Yeah, I
cribs
did.
in-
I
there
think
was
I
two
did
cribs in there.
briefly see that. I did briefly see that in one. I think it was a screenshot that someone showed because I didn't see it
Yeah.
quite away, right away. Because, but I think it's going to be interesting enough because I think they definitely are taking inspiration from. I can't remember what volume of the Vision it is, but it's like the one he had like his whole family and like they were
The
all like
Vision.
him. Like
Yeah,
the
it's
whole
called
yeah.
the Vision. Yeah, it's like the Vision. It was like his Tom King wrote it.
Yeah.
Book.
I
Yeah,
could
I think
tell
it's
that
called
they are
Vision.
definitely taking influences from that comic book run with this, except obviously they're using Wanda to do it. So I think this show is definitely going to take us on a ride to her powers expanding from what we're used to. So I think it's
Okay.
definitely going to be a lot of stuff with her powers and her obviously her dealing with loss and all of that. I mean, she lost a brother, now she lost essentially the love of her life, and she's basically on her own. Like there's whatever. So man, this is going to be one of those mind job type of shows, and I'm actually really looking forward to it.
I am
Now,
too.
Ask a
question.
Yeah.
random question, just a random question.
All
So, if
right.
we're gonna do all of this stuff, and of course, since now Disney has the whole gamut, can't they like bring Quicksilver back? And wait a minute.
They can.
That's the word. I mean, that's kind of like the
Like,
rumor
I
around the
feel like
campfire.
if we're
So
gonna do all of this Scarlet Witch stuff, and like, there got to be some way we can just bring him back because I still think he went out
Kind of
wrong.
gracefully.
He went out
yeah,
prematurely because the audience was like, "We want some death. We want some stakes. We want some this and
they
that."
did say that. They did say that.
You know exactly what
Who?
happened. Fox
Who
was like,
said
"Oh,
that?
you can have
People
Quicksilver as long
like
as you kill him."
Probably.
the thing is
That probably was the deal.
Probably.
a lot of the criticism with a lot of the Marvel movies up to that point was that there was like all this stuff going on, but there was no collateral damage. And I think between I want to say Winter Soldier, even though that's like the only movie where there was definitely some collateral damage, but
What?
they didn't really focus on it really
Wait. What
until,
collateral damage was there in Winter Soldier?
I mean, the fact that all of Shield was pretty much infiltrated, more or
That
less,
yeah,
and it collapsed basically.
that's just government being government. That's literally
I
like
mean,
a
that's
bad
true, but
electoral
again,
college
like
vote.
this
That's
was
all that
Shield we're
is.
talking about though. This
No, I
like
got you. I got you. But there nobody died though. You just got okay. Well,
Still think
we're hiding it.
Marvel took the how am I say this?
The easy way out. Go
Uh,
and say it.
that's the word I'm looking for. The
Yeah.
easy way out. Many like even up until the end, I think they took the easy way out. Which, in my opinion, they should have had in the last two movies. They should have had two big deaths
They did.
in the last two movies, not in the last movie. One of those should have happened in the move in Infinity War and not in Endgame. My opinion.
But
But
you think it's a bigger plot? It could be something bigger than this, the deaths everybody wanted. It could be something more going to happen down the road.
no, there's still the Mickey
You
Mouse
think so?
Corporation.
I'm
That also
saying
released Pulp Fiction.
fact.
I
No,
mean, look,
Miramax did.
somebody is gonna have to take an L at some point.
Mi-
Somebody
First of all, Disney
is
owns
definitely gonna have to
Miramax,
take an
so
L.
that is
I
So
Disney's
know
now.
they own Miramax, but look, Uma Thurman's character is not a Disney princess, okay?
I
Like,
understand that. I understand that. But here's the thing that you guys have
Torres,
to.
bro.
Here's what you always have to remember. Here's what you always have to remember about Disney. Disney does whatever makes them the most money. And I'm sorry.
right. So
In Endgame,
they're
in
not gonna
Infinity
do all
War,
of that stuff.
and all of that stuff, they were like, oh, you guys are mad that we only killed Quicksilver. Hold my beer. Actually, hold my non-alcoholic beer because this is Disney we're talking about. Hold my non-alcoholic beer, and we gonna kill everybody in Infinity War. Now, granted, they all came back in the most triumphant faction in Endgame, but it
Well,
is what
see,
it is. That's what
my
we
in
got. We expected
Infinity
that.
War, my criticism is that they didn't kill one of the mains. They didn't kill one of the mains in
They
Infinity
weren't
War.
supposed to.
They should have, and it would have made
Why?
a better film for me.
The way that movie
I
worked was
mean,
Yes.
awesome because they brought in all this extra stuff, and then
Nope.
at the end of the day, it boiled right back down to that original team of Avengers plus Rocket and War Machine and Vision and Nebula.
I technically count people who headline a movie or who headline their own movie getting dusted in Infinity War dying. I'm not
They
gonna
did.
discount that.
They were
So
dead.
it's like they for all intents and purposes they were dead.
Yeah,
So obviously with Infinity War we lost Heimdall, we lost Loki, then we wound up losing like other people who essentially were ahead of their own franchises. So they did die.
Who?
For
Has to have
Panther
Asgardians
died,
got played.
Panther died, all but one of the Guardians were dead.
yep.
Uh
Two sort of kind of
Okay,
ish.
yes, Black Panther died. So I mean, it's just like I'm not going to say that, but He died. We knew he was gonna die. I needed Captain America.
No,
I needed,
no. Nobody assumed that Panther was gonna die. His movie just came out. No one was gonna like
I
assume that he
assumed
was
it.
dead.
I was just like, watch Black Panther. If somebody gonna die, watch it be Black Panther. Watch it be. Well, I had my bets on Black Panther, Doctor Strange,
Oh,
and
you
Well,
was
somebody else.
betting,
hold on.
huh?
Y'all getting way
So,
off into a whole different field. We're about to wrap this one up real quick out of the chat.
okay,
John P.
yeah,
out
yeah.
of the chat said that Doctor Strange 2 is looking to be a horror film, so Sam Raimi is a good choice on that, and I agree with him on
I
that.
agree. I agree because he's definitely someone who to me in one way or another mastered the horror comedy genre to me.
Right.
Now, granted, it's more horror than comedy, but granted, it's like, look, I was a weird kid at 4 years old when Evil Dead 2 came out. That movie was like a human cartoon to me.
I
So it
love
was,
it. Yeah,
There you
too.
go.
you know,
Now,
like
real
as
quick,
creepy as
last
some
one.
stuff went down in that movie.
I like
Evil
a
Dead
human
2 was,
cartoon. I like that. I just like that.
Fair enough.
yeah,
Now,
like definitely, it definitely was like a human cartoon to me. So it was entertaining, but it was like, it's like watching it again as an adult. It's like when it gets creepy, it's very fucking creepy.
of
So, and
course,
it's,
but I mean,
and
that's it is what it is. Now,
I
The
think
biggest-
we need that. I think we need that for Doc Strange going into the
I
sequel.
think
Well,
We
Doctor
do.
Strange 2 would be more
No.
like Army of Darkness. I think if he does do it, I think Doctor Strange 2 would be more like Army of Darkness because they had the comedic and they had the horror elements even more than Evil Dead 2 because that scene where he fell in that watering hole fighting that the
In
Deadite
Army of
Army of
Darkness.
Darkness. That shit
Yeah.
was hilarious. But it was creepy as hell though too.
cool. Now, yeah,
Yeah.
we about to move over to the last other trailer that came out, but I'm going to turn it back over to the host of the show, Kenshiro, who has made it in.
God damn, y'all can talk, man. I'm
course.
sweating, man.
Yes,
What
we
the
can. Yes, we can. Come on.
What the hell
You
y'all
know
jumping
this.
on?
Is this not a talk show?
You jumped in on
Is
greatness.
this not a talk show?
This is a talk show. You're right, sis. You were right. It is a talk show. How's
Yes.
everybody doing? How's everybody
No
doing?
Oh, we
dare.
doing good.
Yeah.
We doing good. Glad you got there
Good.
safe, man.
So my co-host, Mr. GQ. So go ahead and do the segue. What are we
Well,
doing?
the last trailer we was going to touch on real quick, and I'm talking like y'all no diatribes, real
I
quick.
got it real quick.
Fast and Furious 9, insane trailer, quick reactions, 20 seconds each. Go.
I'm going to see it because you know what? I like the fast movies.
Okay. All right, Meow Yin.
Han is back, and it's basically gonna be Michael Bay blowing up shit. So I'm there for it.
All right, follow.
Michael Bay without Michael Bay.
Oh, fair enough. Follow Marvel.
It's absolutely insane. And at this point, the cars are their own characters. Ergo, the Tarzan video that I posted, if you guys haven't seen it. So,
All right,
yes.
Cool. Super Nerd, Super Nerd, I hope you watched it. What'd you think?
I didn't. I was gonna say it's part of the MCU basically. So
I think John Cena's in it.
Yeah, so-
I will say this.
Wait a minute,
I will
John
say this
Cena.
right-
Yeah, John.
He's in.
Please
Fast
tell me
Nine.
you did not see John Cena.
It's hard.
I
To
It's hard
forgot
to see.
about
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
you're not
You're not supposed to
see
see him. I get it, but still.
Usually I can't see him, so I didn't remember.
Gotcha.
Alright.
No, I was gonna
That's
say
understandable.
there was this meme going around. I don't think Fallen Marvel may have shared it in the group, but the one that said Fast and Furious presents Saban's Power Rangers Turbo.
I've seen that one.
That,
pretty much how we
honestly,
react.
at this
You were
point,
absolutely right about
it was a missed opportunity. At this point, it's a missed
There was one
opportunity.
more trailer that came out recently.
Okay.
Samuel L. Jackson, Chris Rock.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
Spiral. I haven't
Spiral,
seen
the
that,
new
but
Saw.
I'm interested in seeing it. So
I'll get around to it, but
yeah.
real quick
Yeah.
on me for Fast and Furious 9. It is what it is, man. They have long ago said, "Hey, we make the most money the more outrageous we get," so they going outrageous. Because as far as I saw, John Cena caught a car in that trailer, so that's all I need to see.
Yeah.
And some of the
Yeah.
action
Yeah.
again, they're ramping up the action. The dude jumped a bridge jumped a cliff in a car with a rope. That's all I
Swinging
need to
with
know.
the car.
That's
A
all I need to
vine,
see,
a
man.
vine,
I thought Wonder
basically.
Woman swinging on lightning was wild.
Well,
that
you
was
know,
wilder.
Fast is like, look, we don't even care.
Yeah, they
Y'all
don't
thought
care
that
no
lightning
more.
swing was
They're not even pretending anymore.
right. You're like, look, John Cena's car got caught by a plane.
Yeah.
Like, no, skip that, dude. We jump in this bridge with a rope.
Yeah,
Period.
that was wild as shit.
Look,
All right, so
hey,
what you have
hey,
for
check it
us
out.
to the topic,
Yeah.
sir?
The car is made out of adamantium. Y'all didn't know that.
Yeah.
It must be.
Right. Well, thank you, my friends. Appreciate it. You did an admirable job, I'm sure, filling in while I was gone. So, for those of you that didn't know, or maybe you did, and hopefully you hung around, I just got done seeing Birds of Prey. And
On purpose,
Is
too.
that
on
right?
purpose, yes. I got to see it on early screening, so I'm coming straight from the theater. So I wanted to give everybody my raw impressions of the theater. Shorty, we ready with the topics? Or you did? Yeah, there we go. All right. She's on it.
All right.
She's on it. She is on it. I love it.
Backwards?
All right.
Our background team is fire.
Yeah. So,
All right.
So my raw take on my take on the film. Going into the film, obviously from the trailers when we first saw it, I honestly I didn't think it was going to be all that good. It looked like it was going to be another Suicide Squad. It was kind of going to be kind of like a jumbled mess. There was a lot made about how this film is titled Birds of Prey, but it really seemed to be centered around Harley Quinn.
But it has a long title.
It does have a long title, yes. People were upset about the way that Ewan McGregor was portraying Black Mask, the way Mr. Zsasz was being portrayed. Cassandra Cain was like a big sticking point for a lot of people. But still, I went in with kind of like an open mind. I wanted to judge the movie based on what I saw. So I will tell you right now, this movie's a lot of freaking fun, dude. It really is. The movie's a lot of fun. There's most of the elements that a lot of people were bothered about. The whole focus on Harley Quinn, yeah, it's there. And seeing as how the story is told from her perspective, you can kind of understand it. But Margot Robbie does such a fantastic job as Harley Quinn in this movie. Like, she gets Harley. I can say that unequivocally. As someone that reads Harley's book, her monthly book, every month, she gets Harley. Like, and that performance carries out right there on the screen. And I will say that the noise about Black Mask, Ewan McGregor's Black Mask, him not wearing a mask, don't worry about none of that. Because if you liked Black Mask in Batman Under the Red Hood, you're going to like Black Mask here. I guarantee you.
Good.
You are going to like Black Mask here. I guarantee you that.
Okay.
Cassandra Cain, now this is what I'll say about the whole Cassandra Cain thing. Because Cassandra Cain was, a Batgirl, she was basically born a mute, raised basically to be a weapon. All of that is lost. That is not portrayed here at all. And for that matter, if you had called this kid, this is, okay. Remember how we were always saying that if you had named Joker the Clown and stripped all the comic elements out of it and it would still would have been the same movie? If you had named this kid somebody else other than Cassandra Cain, it still would have been the same movie. It didn't have to be Cassandra Cain. That was the whole deal. And that's one of my bigger gripes with the film, is that they wasted what Cassandra Cain probably could be, what a lot of fans might want to see from Cassandra Cain in the books or in the movies. You're not going to get that now. Well, at least you're not going to get the origin that you were supposed to get, because she's talking, she's quipping, she's cussing up a storm. As a film itself, again, I go into films to be entertained. I'm not necessarily there to break them down like they're fine pieces of art. I was thoroughly entertained by this film, from beginning probably till the end. Now, that's kind of my raw take on it, and obviously, I kind of want to give you my feelings on it. I do recommend that everybody that likes Harley Quinn definitely go see this film. If you like Birds of Prey, you might be slightly disappointed, or maybe even more than slightly disappointed, but you're still going to enjoy the film for what it is. Do I still think that this film should have been named Harley Quinn from the jump? Yeah, because it still would have been very great.
Okay, well, real quick, just to jump in. When you come in and say that this movie was very fun, to me, that's not really saying that the movie was good. That's just saying that the movie was fun. There's a lot of movies that are fun. Like
Okay.
a lot of movies that are fun.
Okay.
But if you can't outright from jump say that this movie was good, like when I saw Infinity
Okay.
War,
Okay.
Infinity War was freaking a phenomenal, awesome
Okay.
movie. Great. I was like, my soul was touched.
Okay.
I don't feel like it was fun though.
Oh, Infinity War was all sorts
Wait a
of
minute.
fun.
Infinity
Blasphemy.
War was fun. Yes.
Infinity
Now
War was
you
all
ain't
sorts of fun.
blasphemy.
That movie was
Yeah,
fun
that
until
movie
it
was
wasn't
fun.
at the end. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
I don't think it was fun.
Yeah.
I had all sorts of fun watching that because the
Yeah.
first screening I saw, there was kids crying.
Blasphemy.
This girl was sitting
That's
right next
because
to
you
her
were Team
mom.
Thanos.
Again, I'm on Team Thanos for real.
Yeah,
But
I was
this
Team
girl,
Thanos too, though.
Right, this girl was sitting next to her mom. And then we talking like a little teenage girl, not too much old. She was like, "This is bullshit." That was the first thing she said. And as soon as Spider-Man went,
Faded
and then
away.
as soon as it ended, when Thanos was just sitting there smiling, chilling, like about to,
And the movie was over.
right,
Yeah.
about to put on a pot of greens and some neck bones, like that.
Oh, man.
That was beauty in and of itself. So that movie was fun and phenomenal. So if all you can say is this movie was fun.
No.
That was-
I can't say the movie was just fun. The movie was good. Does it have problems? Sure. A lot of movies have problems, but the movie was good. I was thoroughly entertained. I think it is worth you going to see in the movie theater. I think, again, if you don't take things too seriously and you like to go to a movie just to have fun and be really entertained, you're definitely going to be entertained by this film.
I mean,
Was it a good
shit,
film?
Fast and
Yes.
Furious is fun and entertaining, and people still like that nonsense.
Thank you, Superman.
Fast,
thank you
fast
very
is
much.
like fun and is just absurd
Every
a lot of the time.
well,
No,
shit.
it is absurd.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
But it's like Fast. It's like, see, the Fast series is kind of like in this odd place because it's absurd, but kind of takes itself a little too seriously, which I think is why like it kind of is like, I don't know, like part of it is, but it's like part of it is like, okay, we're absurd, we're doing all this wild shit, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, like it's I guess like it essentially still wants, it's trying to be that throwback to like old action cinema except with cars. So in that regard, it does work. I mean, the one thing I can say is it doesn't feel as lifeless as the Transformers movies do, because
Lifeless.
Because those were
it's
trash.
like because
those Transformers
I'm
movies
gonna
are fun.
because listen,
I mean,
they are
Explosion
they
Fun,
are
I hated
up
the
to
second one
they are
personally.
up to they are to a certain extent, but if you're like rewatching them again or whatever, the movies feel pretty lifeless. Like
They
aside,
gave
like
Devastator
the
balls. That was just like when they did
the
that, that was just
explosions
like,
aside, they're lifeless movies except for probably the first. I would even argue the first two, even though Revenge of the Fallen doesn't really hold up to me
I
as
don't
much
know,
as it
man.
used to.
Dark
But
of
you're
the
still
Moon.
doing about
But
Michael Bay, huh?
Dark of the Moon was fun to me because I enjoyed
I did enjoy
Shockwave
Dark
with the
Moon.
Drillbot. That freaking
see, you know what?
thing destroying
I
the
have to
building
watch the
was
third
fun.
one again. I have to watch the
Third
third
was
one again
amazing.
because a lot of the things, I don't know. I only watched it once, and there's only like a few things that I remember.
The
Like
See,
third one is
I don't know.
incredible.
all y'all out here not getting physical copies, you can rewatch stuff over and over again. That's y'all. I don't know what's up.
I
With
think I bought the first Transformers
I mean,
movie,
it's-
but I just stopped after that because, I mean, they're popcorn munchers. Stuff's blowing up, all that other good stuff. But it was kind of, I didn't even watch the last one, and I didn't see the Bumblebee one yet either.
Bumblebee's first
Watch
20
Bumblebee.
minutes, about 10, 15 minutes.
I want to
is
see it.
amazing.
I just haven't.
I
Pretty
just have to
good.
let
Yeah.
you borrow it or take my digital copy. One
Yeah.
of the two.
Yeah,
On Hulu.
the Cybertron
It's on
battle
Hulu.
at the beginning, like that already to me made that the best.
Oh heck yeah, because
Transformers
it was
movie,
G1
easily.
designs. It
So-
was original voices. I mean it was spot on.
Was Starscream shown in that? And did he have,
Absolutely.
when I say G1, did he have a Cybertronian G1, what you call it?
Starscream
No,
actually
he was-
wasn't in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
And
different.
I thought
Bumblebee?
they put Starscream in it. I thought I saw
They
him.
put a jet in the movie, but it wasn't Starscream.
Oh, really? Because I
Yeah.
thought he had his cars and
Oh,
everything.
okay.
Whoever that was had the look of Starscream, but I don't believe it was Starscream. I
Oh,
need to watch
that's
that
kinda
again.
nuts.
It's been a minute
I
since
could have
I've
sworn I
watched
thought it
that.
was
Say nuts without
Starscream.
thinking about it.
I got to take another look, but I think the two robots.
Yeah,
the
I'd
two
have to go back
Decepticons
and
came
watch
to
that because
Earth
I could
were
have
not
swore that
Starscream.
was too.
Well, Starscream was
Because he
not
got
one of them.
killed.
Yeah, so
It may not have been him. I don't know.
No, they did a good job with the first parts of Bumblebee. That, and then there was a part later on in the movie where they do a flashback and show more of that particular scene. That was awesome. But again, getting back to the Harley Quinn thing, and Kenshiro has returned. You said the movie was fun.
I said it was good.
How
good?
Okay.
You
You
said
want me to
good
quantify
fun.
good? Is that it?
Quantify good, because
Okay.
we've seen a bunch of comic book movies. How does it fit in?
Okay. Is this better than?
You may as well stay away from Marvel.
Suicide Squad.
Don't go crazy. Don't
It's
go
definitely
crazy.
better. Yeah, it's
All
definitely
right.
better than Suicide Squad. Yeah, you know what? It'd be
Okay.
better if you guys give me films that I think you think might be comparable.
Better than Justice League.
Yes, because I had more fun.
Aquaman.
Okay.
Wonder
Probably on
Woman.
the same level. Probably on the same
Shazam?
level. Shazam, better than Shazam. Even though Shazam was the most accurate DC film that they've ever done. This film was still better than it, only because it was a lot more entertaining.
Oh, okay.
I'm in. Because I'm a big Harley fan. So
Yes, I know you are.
I was going to watch it either way.
Right.
Oh, of course.
But-
All right.
We got a Culture Junkies event for it.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
No.
Yeah, so
Anybody
That-
watching that's in the
cool.
Southeast Michigan
Right.
area this Friday, 8:40 at the Imagine Novi.
840, right?
8:40. That's when we're going to go
Yeah, it's
see
gonna
it.
be fun.
Get
It's-
your
no,
tickets
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Is that a
It's
Super
gonna be
EMAX
fun.
show?
It is.
Is it a Super EMAX show?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, well, he wouldn't accept anything else.
No, it's not that I wouldn't.
Yes, you wouldn't. You
No,
wouldn't. You know you
I
wouldn't.
can
yeah.
double check it and I'll get
go-
back to you.
All right,
but I'm
so-
pretty
so-
sure
All right.
it is.
So really quick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tony Young in the chat. It was not Starscream. It was Thundercracker.
There
They
you
made
go.
Thundercracker look like Starscream.
Well,
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
we know the Seekers are your favorite characters out
Yeah.
of the Transformers.
I like the Seekers. I think
Yeah.
they're cool.
No, but he's right. That first 20 minutes, that was the greatest Transformers anything
Yeah,
I'd ever
that-
seen.
that was
That,
like-
that thing was awesome. Well,
That was
besides
like as-
besides Transformers movie.
As Meow Yin would
Right.
call it, a cheergasm.
Yes, I was absolutely sure. It was, all right, so
Indeed.
let's move to the next topic. I actually want to open it up to anybody in the chat that might want to ask me anything about the film, any concerns they
No
might
spoilers,
have.
though.
That no spoilers. There's going to be absolutely no spoilers. I'll turn it over to my fellow panelists. Anything you guys want to ask me, I will tell you as long as it doesn't reveal any, or I'll do my best not to reveal any spoilers. So Twitch, YouTube,
I have a
Facebook,
quick question.
whatever. Go ahead, Miayan. I'm listening.
Rosie Perez.
Yes.
Great or no?
Okay.
Good or great or good? There
He
you
took a
go.
breath.
Okay.
He took a breath. So hold on.
I would not say great, only because she's acted better in other movies, right?
Okay. Okay.
As an older Renee Montoya, she was really good. She was
Okay.
really good. She was
That's
really good.
that's all I
Hold
need
on,
to
so
know.
hold on.
That's
So
all
she's
I need to
playing
know.
a Harvey Bullock, Renee Montoya.
I mean, she ain't Harvey Bullock style, like she's an alcoholic or anything like that. She's kind of a hard-boiled cop, someone that's kind of been passed over for promotion, is kind of stuck in where she's at because a man came along and basically stole her thunder and got a promotion.
Oh, no, that's too much information.
I mean, that's
Question.
that's basic information, but
Okay, but
that's
here's the
essentially
thing.
what she
Here's
is.
the thing. Renee Montoya, if you all remember from
Mm-hmm.
the Batman animated series, was a hot young Latina.
I'm not disagreeing with anything that you
Rosie
said.
Perez
And Rosie Perez is still a hot Latina.
She ain't young though. Rosie Perez in White Men Can't Jump could have been Renee Montoya.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Rosie
We didn't have
Perez
the movie
in
back
2000
then.
Yeah.
Rosie Perez in 2020 is not Renee Montoya.
Anything from Facebook?
We got
Why not?
Eddie
No, I
Johnson
got a
asking
question.
how was the
Hold on,
Joker
hold on.
acting.
Perez, I'll allow.
Wait a minute. All right, hold on a second, Follow Marvel. You got someone from the chat over on Facebook, right?
Yeah, this is Facebook. Eddie Johnson. What
Uh-huh.
up, though, Eddie?
What is up, Eddie?
He says, how was the Joker's acting? Was the Joker even in?
The Joker was not even in this
Okay,
film.
that's the answer.
So that answers that question.
So he's only named.
So no Leto.
No
Leto.
Leto, no Joaquin Phoenix,
Heath.
nobody.
No Joaquin.
Hey, I got a
nobody.
question.
No Mark Hamill either. So yes, Super Nerd.
So,
Gotta throw that out.
I know at some point, was it Renee Montoya? Did she become the Question at some point, right?
In the comics, yes, she does.
Yeah,
She does become.
you're
a
right.
Question.
So I doubt that even bring on that character because they have to bring the original character on there. So
Nope.
Oh no. Just Oh no, just make her the question randomly. You know how WB does it.
No,
Yeah.
And again,
What?
and again, I understand that might be in the character's future. I'm talking about right now.
Right now.
Rena
No.
Montoya is a hot, young Latina police officer.
Use your
Damn.
imagination. Cross your eyes.
Yeah.
If you cross your eyes,
Yeah,
maybe
no,
she's
Damn.
still.
none of that.
I can't
Latina.
believe
Damn,
there
Tony
is no
Young-
amount of eye crossing
Tony
that's
Young
gonna
got in
reduce
chat
30 years of
being-
age.
How
Tony
old
in
is
the chat being what? Being what?
Tony Young being savage. She said that Montoya is old enough to be Commissioner Gordon's first partner as a beat cop.
Exactly.
You know? You know? You know?
Exactly. I
You
don't
know?
care how mean it is.
I don't want all this
trying to-
shit coming
I ain't trying
out.
to say, hey,
I
I ain't
don't
trying to
want
say
this
get
heat.
Vanessa Hudgens or nothing like that. I ain't trying to say do
Although
that.
that wouldn't have been a bad choice.
No, it would have been
Well,
a
she
bad
is
choice.
55.
She
It
didn't
would have
can
been a
bad- she didn't
horrible
can Bad
choice.
Boys though.
Yeah.
But no,
Did not know
for
that she was
real.
55.
I mean, outside of Priyanka Chopra, who's not really Latina.
But
She's
you
not.
would have
She's
allowed it.
literally Asian.
But you would have allowed it.
I understand that. I would have allowed that.
Yeah,
though.
he would have allowed it.
I would have allowed that.
No.
Or, you know, I mean, Ashirawa Rai is a little bit old.
Yeah,
And
she
there's
did on the
quite a
side.
few Latina actresses
There-
that
there
probably
are.
could have
And
done
I don't
it.
know. The only
We
person
need
that
to give a young,
I
young,
think
beautiful
I think-
Latina actress a chance.
Was there any
What if they
other?
would have got Jennifer Lopez instead of?
Oh,
No,
No.
no.
You
no.
know, did you
No.
not see? Did you not see the movie
I don't care.
where she was a stripper?
Who
Hustlers.
cares?
You know,
Who
Bruh.
cares?
Right.
No.
Care.
Hustlers.
No.
Hustlers
Don't
is a
care.
great movie.
It
Hustlers
is.
is
It
a
might be.
really
It might
great
be.
But
movie.
Jennifer Lopez is still old.
No.
She's too old.
Not as
However-
Montoya. Not as
Listen,
you want
Montoya.
somebody
I would
in
have
there-
I don't
gotten.
think she needs to be that
Somebody
part.
mid
she doesn't need to
to
be
late
Montoya.
20s, mid to late.
Why?
I would have gotten my girl. I would have gotten my girl from Rosewood.
Is she a detective?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think Rosie Perez playing that part works.
No, she did good in it.
No, not really.
She was just old.
It
That's all.
does,
She's too old to complete
especially
the
if
training.
You knew that was
Kenshiro
coming.
said that she's been passed up for promotion and that she's kind of
Yeah.
grizzly and stuff like that. You need that. Ain't no young buck gonna be that. That's
I
not
would have
gonna be
actually
young
been
buck.
perfectly happy with the young buck saying, "Hey, I'm getting
She
tired of
didn't
getting
even
passed
need
up."
to be young or fresh out of the academy. She could have still been
See?
a veteran of the force. She just didn't have to be 55.
Right.
But I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Did they say she
See,
was
I'd
55
say-
in the
The
movie?
only person that's allowed that is Sofia Vergara.
Did they say she was 55
I'd say
in the
she-
movie? And no, we do not need Sophia
no.
Vergara.
I'd say Dana Lee Ortiz.
They didn't say she was 55 in the movie, but come on.
Okay.
Like, you got eyes. You can tell.
Exactly. They didn't
You can
de-age her.
tell. Come on now.
Look,
Nah,
there's
it was-
some people right now
Ooh,
who
here you
look
go.
Any other
56,
questions?
but are
Ruiz.
24. So look,
All right. So we got a question in.
Well, no, that was a young Latina actress. Her
Oh,
name was
oh, I thought
Marcel
you-
Ruiz, and I guess they didn't see her. But question:
I voted
Sharita Jackson,
Sharita Jackson's got a question. What's up?
is
Sharita?
the Harley closer to one on the new animated series?
The one in the new animated series is well, she's an even more extreme take than the one in the comic books, but I can safely say she's not. I need to be very careful here. Okay, the Harley that I've read in the comic books in her current monthly run, it's almost her left right off the page.
Okay,
So,
so
and
Margot
it's-
did her homework.
Margot definitely did her homework.
Well, that's good. Here's another question.
Mm-hmm.
Harl Schmo.
Mm-hmm.
What is Harl Schmo supposed to be? I don't know. Whatever. Are Daggett and Falcone mentioned?
That's a negative.
All right. Also from chat, two of them real quick. Desmond
Okay.
Johnson says, "Is it old DCEU or did it feel like a different universe?"
Okay, now that's a very good one. That's a very, very good. Who asked that question?
That's from Desmond Johnson.
Desmond Johnson. Welcome to the show, my friend. Is that on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I
okay.
can see it on YouTube.
Okay, all right, cool.
All right, all right.
Desmond Johnson, thank you for the question. That's a very good one. Now, a lot of it also been made about where this movie takes place in the DCEU. Is it even in the DCEU? There's going to be some conflicting feelings about that. There might be some people that might say, yes, it is. There might be other people that say, no, it isn't. I myself will say, yes, it is, if only because Harley actually breaks down her timeline of how she got to be where she is right now. And yes, she did say, I got arrested by the Batman. I got put into jail, got a bomb stuck in my neck, got broken out by Mr. J, and then
Okay. So
struck out
that's-
on my own.
So,
So-
that's some Suicide Squad.
so she literally put the timeline together. So to me, it's firmly established in the DCEU. That's to me.
Okay.
That's my
Okay.
So
right.
that's what I'll say
makes
about
me
that.
Alright.
wonder though with the
Some continuity.
recent Flash, because I watched the newest episode how the multi-universe doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I'm a
heard
little.
from someone that Collider actually had a very good theory about whether the DCU universe even exists anymore or not. I'll have to take a look at that, but
But
there's so much to say about
That
it.
makes me wonder
See,
if
I'm
this
a little
movie is
confused because
in the
didn't
same
we see other Earths be
brought
like
back.
listed off at the end of the crisis? I'm
Not
confused.
according to Cisco in the newest episode. So that makes me wonder if all DCEU movies, you
'Cause-
can't use that excuse anymore that it's a different universe. Because if you think about it, if that is what they said is true, and even though the movie Flash showed up on a TV show, he doesn't exist anymore.
Correct.
Well, I mean,
you would think.
What the hell?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of confusion going
it's
on
part
about
of
that.
and
It
again,
really
it goes back to sometimes this is why you don't have your TV universe dictate your movie universe.
And they clearly are
much
doing that right now.
because once you run into narratives that paint you into a corner, now it's like, okay, we've got plot holes upon plot holes upon plot holes here.
True.
Yeah, because they actually mentioned something similar on Supergirl, and I was a little confused, and I'm thinking like, wait, what's about it don't exist? What? Huh? What?
Yeah.
How? Didn't we see multiple Earths at the end of it all? Like we seen the universe restart.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
was
it's all really, really, really confusing.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it is. It's a
Who
mess.
is Gina
Definitely.
I thought it was. I thought it wasn't so much that it doesn't exist. That all the movies they weren't like in this same universe in the same manner as
Right.
that other brand.
that was what they were
I thought
alluding
that's what
to
it
was
was.
that they were alluding to that like all the major stuff that we've seen where the movies, TV shows or whatever, like all those things took place on their respective Earths. And with the crisis thing or whatever, they were getting wiped out one by one, but they also led us to believe that it was being restarted. Now it's going to be slightly different
When
from
you say
how it was
we,
before.
when you say we, what are we talking about?
And I said restarted. I think
Okay.
restarted, like the universe began again, basically when they did the thing, and it was supposed to essentially rebirth the universe in some form or another, where there's still alternate. What they even list off alternate Earths at the end of the thing, but now they're saying in the episodes after that there is no multiverse, and I'm like, wait,
It's
how?
very confusing. Like I said, it's really, really, really
Okay,
confusing.
so my understanding is that they were saying, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but they weren't doing basically the Snyderverse. If we're just gonna say what it is, they weren't doing the Snyderverse. So there are movies and I guess possibly shows. I don't really pay attention to the shows,
Right.
but the movies might be connected, but it's not this whole vision that Snyder had. They're going away.
Oh, not at all.
We'll definitely have to see where that goes. Was there
Sharita
any
Jackson
more?
was saying that Gina Rodriguez should have been.
She would have been money.
Montego.
She would have been a great choice.
And it makes me wonder. She's in Jane the Virgin. That was a show I was telling you about earlier today.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
would have been a great one. Was there?
Yeah,
was
she's
there-
a little bit in the hot seat for right now. I don't know if she's gonna get too many movie roles.
Hot seat for what? What she do?
We'll have to discuss that later. But
Well,
was
yeah,
there
we'll talk
was there
about that
any
later.
other follow up questions?
Oh, I see.
Was there any other follow up questions?
Follow up questions.
before we move on?
No, that looks like it's everything.
Anybody else on the panel got any questions?
There's
before we-
Is there
Okay.
an after movie scene?
Honestly, because I was such in a rush to get to you guys, I did not stay. It was one of the only times I didn't stay.
It's also
because-
a possibility, real quick, not to cut you off, just because it was a press screening or an advanced screening, they wouldn't have put it on there.
They did do that to us one time.
Okay,
I
that
remember
makes
they
sense.
did that to us.
Yeah, because people love to talk. They would've
Right,
spoiled it.
right. That makes sense. Well, hence right now we're talking about it. So,
Correct.
We're talking about it in very general,
Very,
broad-
very.
but I
broad
literally asked the question if there was an after scene, and
We
they usually
understand.
say that kind of stuff.
I understand with your red eyeshadow.
But sometimes they might want to get the tongues wagging, so they may have
Okay.
shown it. I'll have to
Can
ask
I-
my
can I-
friend what-
can I
How
ask-
was that?
can I ask
Barbara,
a
you
quick
can ask a
question?
Go ahead and ask a question. Let's make it the
Okay.
last one.
Super was
Is
in there, though.
Dinah a meta?
Super nerd.
Is Dinah a meta?
Yes.
Possibly.
I mean, they kind of showed her canary cry even in trailer.
I didn't watch trailers, so I didn't
Oh,
know.
you didn't watch trailers? Okay.
No.
Well, yeah, they kind of
Super
spoiled.
nerd.
I've
that in
only
the
saw
trailer,
only.
so.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I was looking. I wasn't sure she was going to be a meta and not carrying around a bat. So I'm
Yep.
just I don't know.
Yep.
Nerd.
Super nerd.
No, I was saying how was Zaz in there because she's kind of like one of those off kilter characters that you haven't really seen in the DCEU. So
Okay. Did you
Go
like
ahead.
Zaz in Gotham?
I didn't never see him in Gotham. I'm
I
only going
love
about
Zaz in
looks
He
Zaz in
was
and
good.
Gotham
He was good in Gotham.
fantastic. Zaz in Gotham was fantastic. This ain't that guy, but he's still
Should have
pretty
got the
good.
same actor.
Still pretty
Just why
good, but
not?
he
Hold on,
ain't.
hold
This
on.
ain't
He
that
tried.
Pretty, no,
He
pretty
tried.
good, or was he as good as?
Oh no, I can't.
See, and
I
there's
can't
the
even say
problem.
he's that good.
You know what the worst
I
part
can't
is?
even say he's
The
that
worst
good.
part is this is the third time we've seen
Yeah.
Zaz
Now,
portrayed,
I will say this: he did have the markings all over him.
and that's fine.
And that's
But I mean,
cool.
like, so did the one in Batman Begins. So I mean, I'm not really impressed with that.
Okay,
I mean, Killmonger had a whole bunch of
he sure did.
spurs and whatnot over him.
His were cool though.
Done through CGI.
Yeah, his
but
were
I
cool.
mean,
I
like,
have,
no, go ahead.
I have one final question,
Yes.
and I did short answer.
Short answer.
Black Canary, yay or nay?
Say that.
Overall, like,
Overall,
Canary,
Black
yeah.
Canary.
was this a good diner or not?
Oh, was this a good diner or not?
Yeah.
The Black Canary that a lot of people wanted to see.
No.
Huh?
Good, just short answer.
Just
Yeah,
good or
yay
bad?
nay.
Oh, okay. Good or bad? I liked her. I thought she was good.
Okay. Because
Okay.
I don't want to hear what other people think because I don't
All
care.
right, so that means
I
nay.
just want to ask that.
Look at this guy.
Again, I look at it this way: if you have to put a whole bunch of qualifiers before, a
Oh my
particular
God! I'm
answer,
not even. Okay.
that means that it just probably wasn't all that great.
Oh, my
I'm just saying.
goodness. Okay.
So again, I'm going to go in there.
He's lowering his expectations
My
already.
expectations are already underneath my feet right now. But I'm just saying, I'm going to go in with an open mind, and I will give this movie a
Under
chance.
your feet.
I don't know. He seems like he's made up his
Hey.
mind already in some regards.
No, I haven't. I'm going to go in with an open mind because here's the thing: at the end of the day, I've never read Birds of Prey. I own this TV series and haven't even taken the.
You ain't missing
off.
nothing. you can skip
You know
that
what I'm saying?
altogether.
So it's like this isn't important to me. I'll just go see it because it's like, hey, it's another film that's in our wheelhouse. I need to check it out.
Okay. Fair.
So there you go.
Fair.
Open mind.
Are we ready?
Open mind with a closed book.
Are we ready?
All right.
All right. So we actually have. I put a little special something together. You guys remember this was like what? Was this like I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago. I was doing some videos. And I called them This Week in Gaming, and ran off some of the games that came out this week. Well, I'll put together something even more special, something for you guys to watch here on the show. I'll actually probably post it live to our YouTube channel tomorrow for Throwback Thursday because this kind of fits for Throwback Thursday. But Shorty,
So
cue
this
it
is a
up,
sneak
and we'll
peek
be back.
preview? Awesome.
with the show. Hope you guys really enjoyed that video. If you did, let us know in the chat in the comments. Make sure you look out for the video on our YouTube channel tomorrow. So, based off our conversation on Birds of Prey that we had, kind of the thing I wanted to bring up is, a lot has been made about sticking to the source material for comic book movies, and even going over to Sonic the Hedgehog, how a lot of people were upset with Sonic's model and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to ask, how much does accuracy really matter in when it comes to comic book films? Because this film strayed quite a bit from, in a lot of regards, from the comic book look or even feel, because most of this film takes place during the day. When have you ever known Gotham to be like bright and sunny?
In the day, never.
Gotham doesn't have a sun.
Very rarely.
Right.
So,
But it was daylight in Gotham, and it wasn't at Wayne
This
Manor.
is what I'm saying. Like
Exactly.
it was mostly daylight in Gotham. The most daylight I've ever seen in Gotham since the '60s TV series. So, I mean, that's one small little aspect. But I guess what I'm getting at is, for the broad stroke, like, how much does comic book accuracy really matter? Because, some people would say, Birds of Prey took a lot of liberties with it. When you watch it, you kind of feel like it really didn't in a lot of ways. But Cassandra Cain still stands out as probably, let me amend that statement. Cassandra Cain and Renee Montoya completely stand out as the two most egregious examples of not being comic book accurate at all. But overall, you could say that Birds of Prey still told a really good story. It was an entertaining film. People are going to like it. At the end of the day, the general audience really won't care. So how much does comic book accuracy really matter in films?
I think it does matter.
My stance has always been, it matters up to a certain point, because two things.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I think the characters have to represent them well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think that the stories have to. They don't have to pull from the comic book all the time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's kind of cool. I like what they did with Marvel. They didn't take it verbatim. Mm-hmm. They took little pieces here and made it work. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's most important, because if you don't have the character which we've grown to love, then who is this person in the movie? So that's my thing. So it's important up until a certain degree, because if you get something like the Super Mario Brothers movie, granted it's not a comic book movie, Mario has a vague story, but they took that vague story and then what the fuck? What was this?
Gutted is.
So what's a Goomba?
Mildly.
Goomba's not a freaking. It's a goddamn mushroom, little bitty guy, not a 10-foot person with an itty bitty head. So that's just an example.
7-foot reptile.
It is. But like if you look at Blade, for example, we're going back.
Yeah.
From my understanding, Blade we got in the movies was not the Blade in the comic book.
all.
Not even close.
At all, because first off, I heard he was British. They changed that. Mm-hmm. They changed his fro.
He used
They
to have
changed
that
his
yellow raincoat.
Yeah, they changed all that stuff.
Jesus.
And
Y'all thought Luke Cage's look was bad.
yeah, and so therefore they made it better than the comics, and thus changed the comic book character. So if something like that happens, then that's cool. But I think they should just take the essence of it. And like, if you go back and think about almost any comic book movie that we've watched, for the most part, be it Batman, because there's many different kind of Batmans. People hate on the Joel Schumacher Batmans. I'm telling you, that inspiration was coming from the 60s Batman. If you freaking put that in your brain, you won't hate the movie as much, because you just imagine if that's Adam West. Took all that stuff and just put the 60s stuff in there. People wouldn't complain. Same script, wouldn't complain.
But that movie had like a lot of bad editing and writing.
I'm not disagreeing with you in those ways. I'm just saying, it's just if you were to take all that out, exact same.
Hold on, Super Nerd. No, go ahead.
Yeah, the exact same script, somewhat settings, but make it look like the 60s Batman, people would not have a problem at all. Things they were expecting Tim Burton, and that's the Batman that we got in the movies theaters, and that's what people was expecting. So it's kind of like the perceptions I think of people, and at least for me, just having that feel. If you got the feel of what is coming from this good, then you can work other stuff into it.
All right, Super Nerd, finish your thought. What were you going to say?
Well, I was gonna say, like he said that they took Batman from the '60s and used that into the stuff that we know now in the '90s. But look at Iron Man; they ripped Iron Man straight from the books, his likeness and everything. So I think they could have did the same thing with the books from the 80s and the 70s that came out with his likeness, and they got the old campy 1960s version and fed off of that, used that as a blueprint, which they shouldn't have. They should, like I said, Iron Man was strictly from the books, the likeness and everything, top to bottom. He wasn't nobody from the, he had nothing.
Did he not
Of
have
course,
the
he had a
shag
history.
in the 80s or whatever? Because I remember the
I
cartoons.
mean,
Tony,
I know
Tony
he did.
Stark
He
had the
had
You
that.
shag.
talking about that
Mullet
No, in the
shag,
90s.
whatever he
The
had.
mullet.
No, that was
Yeah.
that was like the
That was the
90s, I
90s.
think, wasn't it?
Look,
Well,
the
my
90s.
that
yeah.
one was
Superman
what-
had one of those too. If
that
I
was like in
remember
the
correctly.
80s
Yeah.
when Tony Stark was
Yeah,
rocking
he
that
did.
boy.
Yeah.
It was in the
look,
80s.
my dad watched Iron Man movie, and he's an old school cartoon guy, or not cartoon, comic book guy. And he looked at the movie, and he's just like, "Why is Iron Man red?" So
Oh man,
sometimes,
he's old school. Like we're talking
Yeah.
He used to the
old
Mark
Iron
1
Man.
and Mark
Hold
2.
on.
yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
But the Mark One
So
was in the movie
It was.
as well as the
It
Mark
just
II.
wasn't gold. It just wasn't gold.
All right, so
That's all.
That's
as I
interesting.
said, my dad was just like, if you want to go for source material and stuff like that, if you do old school, if you want to start that way when you introduce him, because again, unless you were really a comic book person, you really didn't know who Iron Man was. So for him, he was just like, this don't make no damn sense. Why is he red and gold
But did he enjoy the
and
movie? At the
Iron
end?
Man?
Did he enjoy the movie?
Eventually,
Wow.
but
Damn, eventually.
he's a fanboy,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
all right.
so
you're
he
saying-
likes things like he
So
likes
it's-
things.
So what it sounds
So-
like to me is what you're saying is that fanboys are hard to please, and maybe even impossible to please. Is that what you're trying to get at?
I wouldn't say impossible, but sometimes I think with movies, especially with I'm sorry, before I can get into my diatribe, Super Nerd, will you finish with your thought?
My thought, I'm just saying, like, I just felt like, they use all the books in the world, and mostly all the MCU characters stripped from the books. They didn't know who the hell Doctor Strange was or his likeness is because they ripped it from the book. So, I think, using that is the best strategy as far as source material, because they didn't have nothing like that. You don't have, they got from Batman was the 60s stuff, and that was campy as hell. So all these new characters are bringing in what they like is pretty much accurate as far as going.
I ain't gonna front. When I saw that he got up, I almost thought he was in the bathroom for a second till I saw his big ass TV in behind him. I thought he took us to the bathroom trying to be on the show. So.
Right.
No, she kicked me out the
Not
bed.
that kind of show.
Oh, she threw you out.
All right.
Hey man, ain't you the lord of the house? Don't let her throw
Yeah,
you around,
she kicked me out, so I gotta do what she says.
bro.
Get out of here! I'm trying to slate.
All right.
Super Nerd,
I'm gonna
be a
jump in.
smart man.
I'm
Let her
gonna jump
do
in for
it.
the
Let her
chat.
do
I'm gonna
it.
jump in and bring the chat into
Okay,
it.
go ahead.
John P said the original X-Men movies show what happened when it does not matter, which we can all pretty much say amen to that because yeah, the original X-Men movies had moments, but the black leather thing and all that was just kind of like.
Well, I mean, hey, Johnny P, what did you want? Yellow spandex?
Well, hey,
Come on, man.
saying.
What you want?
And then
Yes.
Hand of Omega says the plots don't have to be verbatim, but the ethos of the story and the guide, the guiding theme should be accurate. And I agree with him on that for sure. He also said there's room for pushing boundaries, but if you don't stay true to the source, then what's the point? You may as well make something original. So he's definitely right about that. I'm gonna go ahead and let Marvel say his piece though.
I will definitely agree to that. I'm pretty much on board with you guys' views on it. I just think that to a point, it still has to be recognizable. When it gets to the point where whether it's either character motivation or story, it's like even if they're adapting an original story, sometimes as long as the story is written well, like I can get behind it as long as it's written well. Now, when it comes to characters, again, you can only push that so much to the point where you don't want the character to be unrecognizable. I mean, that's part of the reason why people were so pissed about the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, because it was such a swerve that nobody expected nor wanted. And Luckily, they plan on rectifying that when Shang-Chi comes out. So, but it's and to do you one better, it's probably why Shane Black hasn't been asked back to direct any more Marvel movies. But
Thank God. See another
That's right.
fucking Christmas movie again with
I
superheroes.
do.
I'm gonna fucking hang
I'm
it's
glad
like,
myself.
look,
to see
at the end of the day, I do not hate Iron Man 3. I don't like some of the choices.
I do.
Bro, I'm
However,
telling you, that
however,
Mandarin shit took me
however,
right out of that film.
I get
Took me
that. I
right
get
out.
that. But as far as like concluding an arc for Tony from that trilogy, I think I believe the movie was fine. The Mandarin thing aside, the movie is fine.
Mm,
It's not a horrible movie.
that's
Like
debatable, man.
it's like,
That's where we
hey, it
disagree,
is.
my good friend.
Or directing.
The thing is, like I said, there were some choices in that movie that I did not agree with. But as far as like trying to like do this arc with him afterwards, I think the movie is okay. But to get back on topic, it's like again, movies, if they're going to adapt it, it has to be recognizable, in my opinion. Now, the only way they can get away of just doing something completely original is if it's absolutely zero familiarity a lot of the time. So it's like
Yeah.
with Blade worked because nobody really knew who Blade was. Like for me, I forgot Blade was in Spider-Man. I forgot that he was a Marvel character. And watching the movie, it's like it didn't matter that he was that it was so different because it worked. So it's like if it's a character that no one is familiar with, it's like okay, feel free to do something with it to see if you can make it interesting. But if people know this character and it's well known, don't stray too far. Do not stray too far. Now, with the story, you could do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want as long as it makes sense and is written well. But character-wise, do not deviate too much. Don't do that because people they will let your ass have it every time.
You
Like,
know why
don't
they
do it.
deviated from the Mandarin though? Because people were gonna be like,
Oh, China would not have
It
gone for
was a
that.
cultural
well,
thing.
if they would have made
Yeah.
him look like a businessman and he just happened to be an Asian dude.
Which at the
He
time in the comics,
was.
that's exactly what he was.
Oh, really? See, I didn't even know
Exactly
that.
he
Yeah.
was.
So
Yeah.
They
they
could
should
have done
have
that, but
they should have just
Like I
done
said,
that.
it was Shane Black being Shane Black. That's what it
Okay.
was.
No,
that's the thing though. Like you have certain things. Okay, we all agree. We're most of us are all comic book fans in some form of fashion here. So when you get to that directing chair, you're gonna try to do it as close as you remember and to your nostalgia as you can. And that's where the problem came in. I think with Iron Man 3. That's one of the problems it had.
He didn't read the
Yeah.
books. That's what he did. He did a Brian Singer. He didn't read the books.
Neither here nor
Probably not.
there. But I'm just saying, like for the Mandarin, it became a cultural issue at the time. People weren't going to let that stuff fly, and they were going to lose money, so they had to change something. But then you have, and like Fallen Marvel said, like you have to have something like okay, if it's if it's very popular, like your Superman, like your Batman, like your Spider-Man, like your Wonder Woman, people
Mhm.
are expecting certain storylines and certain
Right.
things.
Right.
But if you have something like Wanted, for example, Wanted is a
Mhm.
comic book movie that is nothing like the comic book,
You ain't
but
never
it's a
lied.
good movie. But it is a good movie. And honestly, they couldn't make that comic book into a movie because it is wild and I love it, but it's still wild. So it's just kind of that certain thing. Like you take certain comic books, if it has popularity, fine. If it doesn't, some of them will still like. I feel like comic books in themselves, they're storyboards. They're right
Mhm.
there for you to set up and work with. It's already mapped out. But there's sometimes where you can't work off of this storyboard. You can't put this into in America anyway, you can't put this on screen and think it's going to go into the theaters and sell out. It's not. But that's also why we have streaming now, and that's also why that's this a great time for comic books, in my opinion, because you can do that kind of stuff. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of like sometimes yes, you can stick to the source material and you will be golden, but other times it's fine to stray away and you'll still have a great product. And again, for me, The Losers and Wanted are great examples
Yeah.
of straying away from the exact comic book, but still having a great movie.
Yeah, I like the
But
Yeah,
losers.
I agree.
Hellboy
I agree.
was Hellboy 1 and 2 was perfect in my opinion. But even though Hellboy like you read the books, they jump around a lot in certain stuff, but just from this origin story was pretty accurate. I mean, and everything else was spot on as far as having the creature effects, and it was. I think it was the best one I've ever seen, like as far as superhero movies.
Hmm.
My opinion.
That's fair.
Okay.
I didn't hate the new Hellboy. I thought it
A
was.
lot of
I
people
watched it.
hated it.
I know. I watched it on a plane. It didn't seem that much different to me from the other Hellboy movies
Okay.
at
It's
all.
on my
So
queue. I haven't
Kind of
watched
part
it.
of the
I'm actually
problem.
going to watch it. I actually am not a huge fan of Hellboy, but I'm just interested to see the comparison between the first ones to this one because I know there's a lot of debate over it
Well,
over
it's
the
part
film.
of it is because Ron Perlman knocked it out of the park on the first two,
Hmm.
and this new guy, he's trying to channel his own Ron Perlman, and it's not completely there. But again, it's nobody's Ron Perlman. That's the problem. Ron Perlman's just kind of like a force of nature when it comes to some of the characters he plays. You know, because
And David Harbour isn't a bad actor.
Hannibal Chow was
Not
that
at all.
deal.
He's a great
now
actor.
he's in the MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hannibal Chow was awesome.
Hannibal Child was awesome, and believe
My
me,
damn
his
shoe.
his presence was missed in Pacific Rim Uprising.
Dude,
It
Pacific
really
Rim
was.
2 shouldn't even been made. That movie was
Didn't see it.
Yeah, it was trash, G.
I
Yeah,
wanted to love it.
Trash
yeah.
I mean,
juice.
I love that little Gundam cameo they had at Anaheim Electronics in Japan. That was cool, but
Yeah.
yeah, everything else
Yeah,
was
that
kind of
movie.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
they sat back and watched the enemy form Voltron, dude. Come on.
Yeah,
Yep,
they showed
There's
it.
yeah.
certain things you don't do.
absolutely.
And
I mean, I'm gonna have to sit back and watch that just because.
No, again, I'll let you borrow it or whatever. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Because you know I have it. But I guess my take on it has always been follow the money. Realistically, you follow the source as close as you can until you can't. Audiences have to understand. Let me preface this with this. Comic book fan audiences have to understand that there are certain things that will not work in the general audience theater if you want to make money, and
Exactly.
that's what it
Absolutely.
comes down to.
It's good
Thanos
business.
being in love with death and wanting to kill all these people because of death would have been the stupidest possible thing they could have put in the theater. I don't care what
No, they
anybody
would have done that in
says.
the
I
'90s. They would
agree.
have done that.
I
I
just
agree.
think
Right.
that if they would have did that, it would have turned Thanos into basically a whipped dude. He would have been at that point.
Megalomaniac. Like he
I mean,
just.
wasn't there a lot of build up in the comic books before the Infinity comics that we already knew this, so it wouldn't have worked anyway.
Exactly. So him
Right.
just doing it as a calculation of I need to cut down half the universal population to save on resources. I had no problem with that because it's like that's something that a crazy person would probably come to that conclusion versus oh well I'm in love with the embodiment of death and I got to please her.
And I just want to kill people just to kill them.
Yeah, that would have been cheesy as all
Right.
get out.
Like
Like when you
the
say
thing
that,
is,
when you say it like
make
that,
it
that does
You
sound
know
like
what?
a pretty
I
lame
think
ass excuse. It does. It really does.
like
But
making him
again, it
making
works.
him like
Yeah.
the self-proposed prophet. It did make him that much more of a dangerous person versus
Right.
somebody that's just like,
He's more.
I
oh,
just
I'm in
He's
love with
more of a,
Lady Death.
he's
Like
more
she
of a
will love me
fanatic.
if I do this.
Right. He's more
You
of a
know, it's
fanatic versus dude. This dude is whipped, and he ain't even got none.
I disagree. I think that they could have written a story where that was viable. He still had all his power and he didn't and I still think that that story would have been viable, but I think there is some other things along the way that they didn't own, so they couldn't go that route if they
Well, which
even
after
wanted
credit
to.
scene are they gonna
So
have Death over there, in a bikini, and Thanos is,
Deadpool.
trying to sex? Which after
okay.
credit scene is that gonna happen in?
I don't know, but I still think they could have done that story, but it wouldn't been for the audience that they are looking for. And
Hey,
we have to
see,
remember this is the
see,
Mickey Mouse Club. They are looking for maximum audience
Of course.
participation.
I'm not
No,
gonna
sure,
lie.
any
I'm not
movie
gonna
should
lie.
do that.
I thought Death was made up in his mind because I didn't know she was actually real. But I guess she is actually real. I
Yeah.
always thought
see.
it was something
But
thinking of his
that's the thing.
imagination.
What made it worse was the fact that like even after him doing all of this, she still spurned him.
Yeah.
And it's
Like
like,
whatever.
dude, like you're basically trying to like you're going for unrequited love at this point, and it's just like it makes him look like it makes him look like a sap, rather a dangerous sap,
Yeah.
but it makes him look like a sap nonetheless.
So how would
And
you have
it's
felt?
Look, Death is a bitch. That's what it
Okay,
comes down
I
to.
get that. But let me ask you this, GQ. How would you have felt at the end of Endgame if after Tony had snapped him, that Death like only he could see her, but he looked up and he saw her and she was standing there and he still faded away.
No,
How would you have felt about it?
I would have understood it, but half the audience would be like, "What the hell is this?"
True.
So there are certain
That's
things.
true.
There are
Yeah.
certain things that no matter how cool they sound on paper, you have to make sure that you're getting the paper that matters in the green in the box office. So you have to keep stuff tight. Because, like, for example, like, you would have done that, and it would have been like, okay, well, like, what was that all about? Then you would have to have a whole big, long diatribe to explain that. And it would have just seemed out of place because it would have been random. But, like, my thing is, comic book Thanos' idea was a whole goofy thing to begin with because it's like, okay, you love this chick. Your way of wooing her instead of getting her flowers or taking her out to dinner or to a movie
How do
or
you get
something
death flowers?
is I'm going to give you more work, basically. That literally was his plan. Hey, I know you was trying to take it off and take it easy on the weekend, but you know what? I got 4 billion people here that you got to process, so get to it. What the hell? What type
You
of
gotta
job?
process. You got people for that.
No.
He's at the
That's
top of the chain.
She's
She's
top
not
of
at
the
the
chain. But
bottom.
she's top of the chain. She's delegating. She might be delegating. However, she still got to put that work in. She still got to stamp off or whatever. You know, she got that stamp. Just like, what's my man's name from Dragon Ball?
No.
King Yama?
Or King Yama.
No.
That's in charge of her.
If Thanos was doing all this work for her, she still don't have to do anything. That's the flowers. Those 10 billion people are the flowers. That's how you get death flowers, Ken, if you were wondering.
Okay, so if you were the embodiment of death, and somebody just killed off a whole bunch of people, and you know full well your job as death is to deal with the dead, you cool with that?
That just means I have a bigger army. My demons need to get to work.
That's how
Death
works.
isn't good or bad. Death
That's-
is just death.
I'm just saying, like, that don't sound like work for death. That sounds like work for her minions.
First of all, you're assuming that Marvel Comics Death has minions. Marvel Comics Death is just she over there almost like Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, she has minions. That's why she's out here hunting folks like Thanos.
No. She sits on a throne, and Thanos envisioned himself sitting in the throne beside her. Like
Yeah,
does the work.
he had delusions of grandeur like many people do.
I understand that, but Death does the work though. And at least in Marvel Comics, Death does the work.
She
Mm.
does.
So
She
over there
does. It's
processing
not like
billions upon
it's
billions
not
of
like
papers.
Hela. It's not like
Exactly.
Hela who can summon minions. Like
Yeah.
Death,
Well,
like
look,
this is legit death. Like she
obviously her
escorts.
personal assistant was busy that weekend. Let's
So,
just
I mean, again,
because
why you think she got arthritis in like both hands and both feet?
isn't
And even
isn't
the teeth?
Deadpool one of her minions in a sense?
She actually likes Deadpool. That's the funny thing.
I know. So
Thanos-
isn't it? But if I
Thanos is
remember,
putting in
and
all
I
that
could be
work, and he's like
remembering
the side-
wrong.
He's not even the side guy.
Oh,
That's
He actually loves
that's
that.
kind of like her main thing.
Yeah, that's what I
honestly,
mean.
if you
And
think about it.
Thanos
Like-
was pissed about that
So I
in
don't
books.
get it.
so
That's
so
why he-
Thanos is
that's
the-
why he cursed him.
the side dude. I got to go read this again.
It's not even really that he's a side dude. Like Death literally doesn't like him.
She really doesn't.
Oh, so he's just thirsty. Got it.
I think it's the purple
Like
chin.
Death is not like Thanos at all.
It's that cleft chin.
Yeah, no, it's that
He's
cleft chin.
in love with her, and he's like trying to do this stuff. Got it.
Sack of a chin. That's cool.
But you know, in Deadpool's fashion, he dreams death in the milky white skin and blonde hair. So
Hey man, you know they just got back together in the comics too, right?
Wow.
for real,
Yeah, Deadpool and Death just got back together,
Wow.
man. Yeah.
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 Again, it goes back to, but what I'm saying is comic accuracy is not always the best thing.
Not always, because I don't need all that shit.
Because again, y'all might not have liked the Mandarin Swerve. I didn't really care because I completely understood you are not going into China with the original Mandarin at all.
He could have been a respectable businessman. He have to be no Fu Manchu.
Okay, here's the thing. The majority of the audience that generally saw the Mandarin saw the Fu Manchu Mandarin. So
Right.
if you suddenly say, like, you know, let's just bring it up. Let's say you brought in, like, Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa in a suit and called him the Mandarin. They'd be like, hold on. Y'all have all of this comic accurate looking Captain America and Iron Man and all these characters. Why does the Mandarin just look like some regular guy? And the average person might say that, and it'll just come off as cheap. when you go back to the Mandarin that I remember from the cartoons, and you're going to hear that a bunch of times over, is this dude with the long beard and the green outfit and all that and blah, blah, blah. And so those trailers hyped everybody up thinking that's what we were going to get. And then you had Ben Kingsley's insanely talented butt playing the character. Everybody hyped it up as, dude, this is about to be the best. Now, granted, they did their thing in the marketing, and that's part of marketing is lying. I'm just to be 100%
It's
honest.
not lying.
Yes, it is.
It's not lying.
Yes, it is. It is very, very, very nuanced lying.
It's kind of hard not to agree with that because if
Well,
you
that's
really
what my
think
degree
about,
is in, so I know what I'm
you think
talking about.
about,
I'm just saying.
Good
if you
marketing
think
is
about
fine.
The fast food
a
commercials.
couple of those scenes that they used in the Infinity War promos, like a lot of those were just promo shots. That's
Exactly. Exactly. Even coming out of
But
Iron
is
Man
a promo
3.
lying though? That's the
Huh?
difference. Is a promo lying? That's,
Yeah. Because the thing is,
How?
you're presenting something that does not actually happen or exist
What's
in
false
the film.
advertisement then?
No. What do you think false is? That's a lie. It's
That's not
nuanced.
good marketing.
Yeah, it is. Because guess what? Iron Man 3 made $1 billion. Iron Man 3,
is a terrible
20
movie.
years ago.
Too. 1.3.
Yeah, Iron Man, anything 20 years ago wouldn't have made, in most people's
Jack.
minds, $100,000 maybe. You might get some money.
It would have been impossible to make, man. You couldn't have made that movie 20 years ago.
If they had the same script, I could see him doing it. Same script, same actors, because the actors are still around, and they were still, well,
Hey, man,
Robert Downey Jr. was having a lot of problems.
But Marvel
back then,
Studios
though.
was not
Marvel
around.
Yeah.
Well, no, remember, Marvel Studios
Didn't do the first
yeah,
one.
they did the third one. But no, what I'm
They
saying
only did
is,
the third one.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Who did
what?
the third one?
Paramount did
the first.
Yeah,
the
but
first-
Marvel Studios was still doing the actual
No.
production work.
They did.
Yes.
Yeah, Paramount was a
Up
distributor,
until-
though, I thought.
Paramount was a distributor.
they
They,
were the
didn't make the
distributor.
movie. Marvel
They were
Studios
the-
made the movie. for
Marvel
Paramount.
Studios didn't exist, so they didn't make the movie.
Hey, you know
No, I
what?
remember
You know what? We
first
got Google. Go and look it up. Go and look it up.
Wait, while y'all are
Telling
looking that
you.
up, I'm going back to finish
they
what I
haven't-
was
Yeah,
saying.
go ahead
ahead.
and finish what you were
First
saying.
Avenger was
When
the
did
last
Marvel
one that they
Studios-
put a. First Avenger was the last Marvel movie that they had their bumper on. After First Avenger, like the original Avengers didn't even have a bumper. It just went straight to Avengers. I think it had the Marvel.
Produced
bumper
by Marvel,
front
distributed
row.
by Paramount.
But-
Thank you.
But after
Thank you
that-
very much.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, it
Yes, it
was,
was
but that doesn't
produced
mean
by
Par-
Marvel.
it doesn't
Thank
mean
you.
Paramount. Okay.
Paramount was involved in in Phase 1, basically.
Yes.
From Iron Man to Avengers.
they
Disney
distributed the
completely
movies.
took over
Yep.
once Iron Man 3 hit. That's when you got your Marvel Studios and that new, like you said, bumper or that new studio logo. That's when Disney completely took the reins. Because Paramount is still, if you look at the beginning of Avengers, they open with that shot of the Tesseract, and then it goes into the Paramount logo, and then it fades into a couple of other things. That's Paramount's last involvement in anything related to Marvel.
And they was heated about it too. They
Well,
did.
hey,
Yeah.
dude, when the House of Mouse comes in and when they put their thing down, they put their thing down.
Because they knew they had a cash cow, but they didn't.
But no,
they didn't
they
want to put that.
had
Yeah, they
a
had
cash
one,
cow.
and they let it slip.
Somebody with a
So-
bigger wallet showed up. And was
That's
like,
right. That's exactly what happened.
Right. So I'm just
That's
saying.
exactly
You
what
know, now that I think about it, it makes me kind of wonder, like, had that not happened, like, would we have messed around and got like a Avengers and Transformers crossover?
Avengers transform. Nah, dude. No.
Man, no.
No.
The world's
No,
not
man,
ready
no.
for this.
Man, no.
They-
Michael
they
Bay.
did have a comic
Michael
book,
Bay
they did
involved.
have a-
They
No.
did have a
did have a
comic book,
comic
dude.
book
They,
crossover.
they've been had a G.I. Joe versus Transformers comic for the longest, even
Yeah.
before any of these movies came out. But that
Yeah,
doesn't mean
because
that
they both
they
used to
were
be
ready
Marvel
to do
Comics
it.
properties.
Right. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, 'cause we've
neither one of those
we've
franchises
had,
is ready.
12 years. I'm just saying because it's been 12 years
Man,
now.
no.
If it wasn't under the Disney banner, it just makes me wonder.
Hey! We about to get a snake. We about to get a Snake
Cause-
Eyes movie. Let's see how that does first.
Man. Yeah, I mean, if they screw that up, we gonna have to kill somebody. Because they better not screw that up.
Man, all I know is Ray Park better do it. Ray Park always does his thing. I ain't even worried about that. Except when he tried to play Rugal. That was terrible.
Wait a minute.
I forgot about that.
Wait a minute.
And the King of
In
Fighters.
the
no,
King
wait,
of Fighters
King of
film,
Fighters
he
was
was
No,
Rugal.
King of
God.
Fighters.
Why did
God,
you
yeah,
bring
he was
that
Rugal.
up?
Hey,
Why did
because
you
it's
bring that
again,
up?
I'm a
I
movie
forgot all
aficionado.
about that.
Oh,
I know my
Jesus.
movies. And Rue Galloway's supposed to be about 6 foot something.
Oh,
and Ray Park.
man.
Killed by Terry Bogard. I hated Terry Bogard in that.
Bogart was trash.
He was
Yeah, he was.
Horrible.
straight trash.
Are you okay? In a page. He paged somebody. Are you okay? That was the only thing I thought was actually kind of clever. But anyway, going back to the comic book thing.
Oh God.
I had no problems with it because, sorry, Meow Yin, just to finish the discussion we were having. False advertising is a lie. It's nuanced lying. They had everybody thinking Hulk was going to be really in there leading the charge in Wakanda, and it never happened.
Yeah. They pulled that switch on everybody.
Again,
They were
marketing.
mad.
I disagree because the way that they do trailers now, they have trailers for trailers. So I'm just like, you're advertising a trailer to tell me that a trailer is coming out Monday.
Yeah.
At that point, you've lost me completely, and all of your advertising and stuff like that. It's just saying, hey, look at these characters, look at this, look at that, shiny objects.
Because that's how people are.
It's not necessarily lying because you're saying, hey, this is who we are. We have these characters. Boom, boom, bang, whatever.
Okay.
So I wouldn't call that lying. Now,
Okay, I'll give you. I'll give you. Hold on. Let me real quick because we're running low on time. I'm going to give you the best example ever, and everybody in this room, including Hand Over Mega in the chat, knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say, look up the trailer for Highlander Endgame.
Holy shit, dude.
If you want to see true marketing lying, look up that trailer and then compare it to the actual movie that came out.
I know
Did
exactly
you
what
just
you're
read
talking
that?
about.
Because he actually mentioned that.
I guess.
I didn't read it.
He said you can't forgive the Highlander Endgame trailer.
Yeah.
It was unforgivable.
Yeah, no, for real. Look at that trailer, and then at some point in your life, watch that movie. Because when you watch that movie and you look at that trailer,
You saw Highlander? You remember the
saw the
trailer?
you remember the trailer.
Trailer was straight up false.
Completely false.
Everything
They
was made up.
Literally. Literally.
I always use Suicide Squad as that for me. Like, for me, Suicide Squad was that misdirection.
Oh, no. This is beyond misdirection. This is literally, the film was finished. You know how like they finish a film and then usually like the trailers usually are made, during filming so you can kind of get the hype. This movie was already done, and they were like, the test audiences was like, dude, this is trash.
So let's hurry up and recut the film.
So no, they didn't even recut the film because the thing is that when the movie came out, they had an extended version that came. Well, the one I got had the extended version, so I'm like, okay, maybe all them scenes are back in the extended version. No, what they actually did was after the test screenings were done, they didn't bother to go back and add more stuff to make the movie better. They just filmed some specific scenes and stuff for a trailer to get people to go in and see this movie.
Wow.
That trailer was a lie.
Wow.
It wasn't like deleted scenes that got left on. No, these were scenes made to lie to people.
Literally.
Again, puffery is another thing that you use in marketing where you say, "Oh, we have the best ribs in the world." No, you don't.
No, you don't.
You can't make that claim because you haven't tasted all the ribs in the world.
Exactly.
Puffery is what I would call all of this stuff. I wouldn't call it lies, but I would call it puffery.
I'm sorry.
Except for that Endgame.
When you say something that ain't true, and it's basically calling it puffery and all. You know what that is? That's when people be like, "Oh, it's a little white lie."
No,
it's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's
not a white lie.
Oh, 45 didn't mean that. He misspoke.
Dude,
No, he lied.
He lied. No, he lied.
A whole
End of story.
level.
End of story. Either it's a lie or it's
right.
not. I'm for real. Let me go to my mom right now and tell her something that is straight up wrong, and try to claim that it's not a lie when I know it's a lie.
That's a lie.
Still gonna get smacked.
I get what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but okay, I wouldn't say that for all marketing though, and that's my argument and why I don't watch trailers. I watch the first trailer and I'm done. I don't watch anything else until I go to see the movie because it's pointless to me.
Gotcha.
It's just like
I typically don't watch trailers.
Right.
I mean, I maybe
Some
once
of
like you. I mean, I'll watch it once and then like, okay, that's enough. But like if it's a movie I'm really anticipating,
Well,
watch
when we start
trailer
doing
off.
trailer reactions, you'll be watching a bunch of
Oh my
trailers.
God!
Speaking of that, all right, y'all. It's 10:30. We've had a great time entertaining you. We hope you have enjoyed the show. If you are just joining us late, we talked about. I just went to see Birds of Prey before I came and joined the show. You'll hear my reactions on that on a replay. You also hear us talking about does comic book accuracy matter in comic book films? That was a great discussion there. But you also will see on the replay. The This Week in Gaming. If you don't want to wait for that, I'll have that video up on our YouTube channel tomorrow. So make sure you head over to youtube.com/Culture Junkies and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that. You don't miss GQ's absolutely excellent unboxing videos that he's doing. You're doing you're doing one video this week, right? Which one is it?
Yeah, one. The thing that's being unboxed is a continuation of the Star Wars items from Galaxy's Edge. So you will be able to see what the rest of that stuff was. Plus, my personalized, customized, I built it with my own 2 hands from a box of scraps in a cave. Droid that I built. My own design.
Hey, can anybody guess what color his droid might be?
I mean,
Green. It's gonna be green, right?
No,
Red.
Straight up
black.
I already know dinos.
I'm
I already know.
I've never met another person, just me personally, that likes the color green. Everybody's
Excuse me. Everybody likes the color green. It's money. Come on.
Yeah, but when I try to make that thing, they're like, I love red, I like blue, I love blue, I
Well,
love
the
red.
thing is-
That's
the thing is,
everybody world.
You know what
blue,
it is?
red,
You know what it
blue,
is?
red.
You like getting up and going.
Yeah.
Because that's why you
Go
like green.
green, cash, green,
Go green, go white.
Get grass.
Primary
Right.
colors, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying the people that I've met, besides Mr. GQ here, who I've heard say his favorite color is black, but that's not a color. It's absolutely a color.
It's all colors. Depends
Yeah.
on if you're talking about light or if you're talking about paint.
Color.
Yeah. It's
Well, I consider it a color, but most people in the scientific term is not a color because in order
So
for it to
so
color,
right
it
now
has to
you're wearing-
reflect. It has to reflect back into your eyes. This is absorbing all the colors, so therefore
essentially,
it's not
You're wearing a not colored shirt.
apparently because colors are supposed to be. You don't see things. We see light reflecting off of it.
Gotcha.
This absorbs the light. Regardless of
But
that,
see,
I'm
that's
not going to get into that.
Again, only in
Let's talk
terms
about
of
green.
light. That's in
Green.
terms of light.
Green. Green. Green.
The seat he's sitting in is green.
I wish it was. They had an opportunity to get a green
got
one.
one.
No, we didn't get the green
Yeah,
one.
no, okay.
But my cable.
His cable,
microphone
his cable,
is
his microphone
green.
is green. Yeah. Anyway, the cable,
Green!
the tape on his camera is green. Anyway, y'all, we had a great time entertaining you for the last 90 minutes. We hope you will enjoy. You will come back and join us for episode 199 of Culture Junkies Live next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. 2 shows left. Really, actually, one show left until the great.
Well, the second show is
200th.
the 200th.
Yeah, the second show is the 200th. So there's literally one more show until we go to 200th, and that's going to be a great show. We're going to have a great time. We're going to have some really great new stuff for you to enjoy. So if you've enjoyed this episode of Culture Junkies Live at all, we want you to like us on Facebook or especially go over to our YouTube and subscribe to us there so you can see all the rest of our videos. So for my good friends, GQ, the great Daitakuji, Fallen Marvel, Super Nerd Plus, and Miss Miao Yin, I am Kenshiro. We'll see you guys next week. We hope you have a great one. Peace out.
And rest
See you
in
later.
peace, Kirk Douglas.
Wait a minute, Kirk Douglas died?
Yep.
Yeah, 103 years
Oh,
old.
wow, I didn't even know
You lived
that.
a great life, sir.
Wow, he
Also,
did. That's a
happy
lot.
early birthday to
Miss Jackson.
Rita Jackson.
Yes, happy
Happy
birthday.
early.
Happy birthday.
And happy birthday to my little cousin Kennedy. She just
Happy
turned
birthday,
17.
Kennedy.
Happy birthday
Birthday,
to
Kennedy.
Miss
Shout out
Kennedy
to the
over
homie
there.
Yemens.
Did you just say Holy Women's?
No, shout out to the homie Yemens. That's the homie.
Oh, the homie.
I made that name up. He's not real.
The cover.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
You got issues. You have issues, sir.
Yeah, I do.